Hey, what is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Yes, I'm filming multiple videos on the same day, so if you say, why is she wearing the same outfit that she was wearing in the last video, I batch filmed them, okay? So, I wanted to talk, yes, I'm breaking my own vows from January, not because my views are down or I got demonetized or whatever. I want to talk about this, so I'm going to talk about this. I'm personally bothered by the mental health summit that Meghan and Harry held. And I'm going to tell you why. I think, or I know, or I feel that these two people are the last people on earth that should be having any sort of leading discussions on mental health. And I'm going to tell you why. When Harry is the Duchess of Narcissism. It's so funny. When Harry was in the royal family and he talked about, losing his mom and all that kind of stuff, and like the same story we've heard over and over, and he's not the only person to lose his mother or father. And he was talking with William about that stuff. He kind of had a leg to stand on because he wasn't whining. He wasn't acting like the first person on earth to lose a parent, but he was talking about it with, like Heads Together and those organizations in a way that was like, yeah, even though I'm a prince, even though I'm rich, I did have a tragedy in my life and I did have mental health problems. It affected me mentally and I did seek help, so you should seek help too, no matter what, right? Okay, we can all relate to that. That's fine. However, we all know that since he got with Meghan, Megsy baby, and left the royal family, it has just been every day, I lost my mom is gone, I lost my mom, and this guy's almost 40 years old, and I understand that, it hurts. I can imagine that it hurts, but in reality, though, he's already gotten the help that he claimed he needed. I think that he's also exasperating the problem because he now claims that he didn't know how bad he was until Meghan told him, even though he also claimed that when he came back from Afghanistan, he had a mental breakdown, and his brother, Prince William, told him, bro, you got to get help. This isn't normal behavior. And then all of a sudden now he's claiming that, when he was with Meghan, he was reverting into a 12-year-old, and this is a game that Meghan is running on Harry. Let me tell you, allegedly, this is my opinion, right? My opinion as just a person who observes a lot of people, who has dealt firsthand with narcissism. And the Bible also says that Christians should be as harmless as doves, but as wise as serpents. I know my own self, and I know that if I really wanted to, I could destroy people, but I'm not evil, right? Because I know that God is watching me, number one. Number two, I'm gonna have to give an account for my life, so I don't use my powers for bad, Okay, so literally, I just watch people. I just look and I listen. I listen to what people are saying, right? And because of me actually unpacking my own traumas, I know when people are running game, okay? So, Meghan is a person who, from the TIG, from her interviews, from her Instagram, she is a person who has portrayed herself as a well-traveled, well-learned woman of the world. Hear me out. Hear me out before you say, what are you talking about? She's portrayed herself, right? She would post pictures on her blog and her Instagram about all these books that she was reading. So if someone's posting a lot of books, you're like, okay, well, this person has an appetite for wisdom. People who do not give a damn about anything don't read books. People who just care about, what is Beyonce doing? What is Kim Kardashian wearing? They don't read books. Why would they be reading books about, now we want to talk unlearning racism and unconscious bias and whatever, right? Wokeisms. But those people who use these wokeism phrases portray themselves as highbrow, as I've traveled all over. Her even saying my mother was a travel agent. We used to go to Mexico and wherever, Hawaii and all these other whatever places she said she went. You are trying to separate yourself from the average person who may be middle class, lower middle class, who maybe they travel once a year to Disney, they go to Disney World on vacation. You're saying, well, I've been to Croatia, I've been to here, I've been to there, I've been everywhere. Oh yeah, I've learned so many things from all these other people in all my travels. Remember when Harry had said in Spare that Meghan was like, oh, I'm in my eat, pray, love. Like, when I went to Paris, this woman, I told her, oh, I came to Paris by myself. She's like, oh, you're having your eat, pray, love moment. That's become like a colloquialism of like, oh, you're a woman who's like traveling alone to open your eyes or like have new experiences. Because in Eat, Pray, Love, with the book and then the movie with Julia Roberts, I believe, it was a woman who was divorced or went through it, divorced her husband, and then traveled the world by herself to like have some nirvana moment, right? So it's become like, oh, I had a eat, pray, love moment, right? Harry had never heard of the book. I don't put it past him because it's a woman's book. Like, it's something women would talk about and women would read. I don't know any man. I do know a guy who actually said he had an eat, pray, love moment, which was funny, when he traveled. But other than him, I don't know any other man in my 28 years of life who's ever talked about the book, who's ever referenced the book. So like, Harry thought that Meghan, for the fact that he mentioned Eat, Pray, Love and was like, oh, I've never heard of it before. What is it about? Oh my gosh. He's saying this woman is so smart that like, she's reading books he's never heard of. He's a prince and he's never heard of Eat, Pray, Love, a book about self-discovery. Oh my God, I have to read it. So literally, he talks about Meghan like she enlightened him. Because she has presented herself as, because he's like, oh, I'm a prince. Like, I was just taught these things and I get briefed these things by my aides, and like I travel because I have to for the queen or for the monarch. But he's looking at Meghan like, wow, you're an actress who cares so much about the world. You could just be in a Hollywood, which she never was in a Hollywood, except for when her dad took her to the schools that she went to, which were like, Kim Kardashian went to the same school and a lot of famous kids went to the Little Red School for acting or whatever. Other than that, Meghan was never a Hollywood. She wasn't in a Hollywood shows, Hollywood movies. She was not in blockbuster movies. So she was not in Hollywood. If I become an actress and I'm on a Lifetime movie, I'm not Hollywood. But we associate acting with Hollywood. So people will say she's a Hollywood because she's an actor or in entertainment, or she thinks she's all that in a bag of chips. You're acting so Hollywood, right? And I don't really blame Harry for thinking that, because he's not... How do I say this? People who are royals hang around aristocrats. Aristocrats, it's a movie. Aristocrats. They hang out in aristocratic circles with other, politicians' kids, art dealers' kids, very highbrow people. They're not really mingling with, even if they mingle with actors in England, for example, those are actors who went to like Eton College or Oxford or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're not like so other country, like from another, like they meet people from other countries, obviously, but their close friends are people that are very much like them, who think like them, who act like them, who are not. They're not. And an art dealer from Edinburgh is not going to meet people like Lil Wayne every single day, right? Because most rappers hang out with other rappers. Most actors in Hollywood hang out with other Hollywood actors, people in the same block as them. You see Justin Bieber hanging out with other musicians, other celebrities, models, people in that sphere. So literally, Harry meeting what he perceived to be an American actress who's traveled the world. He's thinking like a shiny new toy, like the new kid at school. Wow, who is she? What is she about? Because the people that he hung out with were other British upper crust. Oh yeah, my father's in the House of Lords. Like those sorts of people, okay? Those are the people Harry was around. So of course he's going to be taken by, yeah, I'm an American, yeah, and I've traveled the world, and I have this blog, and I'm an actor on this show, actress on this show, and I model, and da-da-da-da-da, and I'm from a different continent, country, background, socioeconomic background than you. So Meghan could be whoever she wanted to be with Harry. The family that I never had. I came from a broken home. Oh, I've just worked so hard. I've just worked so hard to be where I am. Harry doesn't know her friends from high school. Harry doesn't know the people that she grew up with. Whereas if I dated a guy who lived in Worcester, Massachusetts, where I used to live for 9 years, who went to the same high school as me, he knows me from back then. He knows the people I was around. We can say, oh, do you know this person? Yeah, I know that person, blah, blah, blah. So when he dates a Cressida Bonus or a Chelsea Davy, a lot of those people are the daughters of people his family knows or people that are in the same circles. That's what I'm trying to say. So her being American and her then using the black card, she's telling him all these terms like unconscious bias and all these wokeisms that in his own circle he's not really hearing about, because that's not something that they don't really, he may hear those things, but it doesn't directly affect him because he's in his princely aristocratic bubble, right? And then again, he's also like 4th, 5th, 6th in line to the throne. He's not gonna be the king where you literally need to be updated on everything happening in geopolitics and whatever is happening in the world and societies, because you need to be up to date all the time to be relevant. You can't be in the Stone Ages in 2023 as a monarch. But even then, I'm sure that there's certain things that Prince William, who's 40s, like 39, 40, whatever, however old he is, would, if he was trying to talk to people in Gen Z, he'd be confused too. Like I, as a millennial, get confused when I hear Gen Z and whatever other generation after them is talking. I'm like, what are they talking about? There's things that I myself need to know. But I believe that Meghan came with the woo-woo stuff, right? The woo-woo stuff, as in like, oh, you need to not, I mean, people have practiced meditation and all that kind of stuff. And we know like people in the royal family are what? The Church of England, right? I think Meghan is the one who came with the, I wake up at 4 a.m. to do yoga and I meditate and, I believe in these crystals and I drink this green energy juice that just balances me out. And, I just, I say my mantras in the morning, and to Harry, it was new. Like I said, it was exciting. We all read those press releases where it said that Harry stopped smoking cigarettes. He started doing yoga with Meghan, and we saw her doing yoga and meditation and in the Netflix documentary and crying, and she does, all that kind of stuff, right? And if Harry was a person who was into that stuff beforehand, he kept it private, or he didn't talk about it, or he wasn't into that stuff until Meghan. He's acting like Meghan was his savior. And so there are people who try to come into your life and make you be like, oh, what you knew before this was all wrong, and I'm gonna teach you the way, like there's some messiah, right? And I just feel like she initially wowed him, enchanted him, entranced him, gave her a sob story. Of course, he's a literal prince, but made him feel like, oh, you can save me in some ways, even though I'm a strong, independent woman because I came from a like I said, look, guys, I'm a person who knows psychology. I can run game, but I choose not to because I'm a good person. I try to be a good person, all right? But this, oh, you can save me. I want to be saved. Please help me. I've been, Harry, I can see it. I see it in my mind, like a prophet, like a prophet sees things, right? Harry, my parents are divorced, and, I know your parents were divorced too, and it's just really hard too, because, as a biracial person, I never really fit, and I was too white for the black kids and too black for the white kids, and I'm just so tired, Harry. I'm just so tired of, being so strong, and, he's like, oh, love, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry you had to feel so alone. My God, I had a family, at least I had Wills, and later on Catherine, and, you had to deal with unconscious, and, Harry, my hair. I can look, literally, I'm telling you, like, let me write a movie. Let me write another book. Let me write a fictional book about this. Harry, you know, I straighten my hair. I get keratin treatments because, you know, growing up, I was made fun of for being, you know, having curly hair. I was called Krusty the Clown. It just made me, you know, really sensitive about my hair. And, you know, as a biracial woman, I felt like I had to pick a side and I didn't want to. And, you know, my dad, you know, before I lost my dad, he told me to tick my own box. And, you know, it's just really hard because I've always, you know, when I was with white people, I just had to identify with white people to fit in, Harry, you know, right? And that's why I straighten my hair. And, you know, that's why I've never showed you my natural curls, because it's just really hard for me, Harry. Like, it's hard because, you know, there's this unconscious bias, and I'm so afraid that, you know, I get flashbacks of when I had my hair curled and they called me Krusty the Clown. And, you know, when I was in college and I escaped high school, you know, I really felt like I could, you know, lean in. But I just felt like, you know, every time I looked at magazines, it was just straight hair. And so I just started straightening my hair, and, you know, it's just, Harry, like, it's just hard, right? And he's like, yeah, love, it must be, you know, you're so beautiful with your hair. And look, I'm black, all right? I straighten my hair myself, you know, whatever. Like, I stopped getting relaxers because that's really bad for your hair. So I get it. But to me, I just see the theatrics of their relationship dynamics. Like, I just see it. I just see it. Like, I can see the conversations happening like a movie. And so I just think Meghan, when you see her, a lot of times she will look at Harry like he'll cut her off, which that happens in conversations. And when I'm talking to somebody and they cut me off, we both laugh about it. Like, I've been on the phone where I've talked to people and we accidentally like talk over each other and we laugh, and it's like, sorry, and it's kind of cute. And you go ahead. No, you go ahead. I don't look at them like, I'm not in a conversation with someone when they cut me off, I'm like. But Meghan always does that. And if YouTube wasn't, you know, being annoying, I would show the clips. But she always has this look of disdain whenever Harry cuts her off, because it's like, I can see it in the car. So, love, you know, that engagement was really good, talking about mental health with the kids, right? Yeah, but Harry, I just want to say something, you know. You cut me off. And, you know, for centuries, the patriarchy has been, you know, stifling women's voices. And, you know, when you cut me off, it just really makes me feel less than as a woman. Oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, well, Harry, I keep telling you and it keeps happening, and it just really upsets me. It just really upsets me, Harry, because I've told you over and over, and like, you just keep doing it. And I just, as a woman, you know, our voices, we need to have a seat at the table, and you just always, you know, you have this habit, Harry, of cutting me off. And like, I left everything for you, and it's just really hard because, you know, I lost my dad, you know, I lost my family, and I love you, and I fell in love with the prince, and, you know, it just happened. It was like fate, right? But it hurts me. It hurts. It just hurts when you cut me off. So I think that Harry is always walking on eggshells, and that's why he always just looks so deflated, because whenever he's around Meghan, it's like, I have to say the right thing, am I gonna say the right thing? And then there's the paps, and she left everything for me, and like, you know, I have to support her, I can't be toxic, I can't be a toxic man, you know, I have white privilege, and I have to be conscious of that, and I have to be conscious of my conscious bias. And it's like, he can't breathe. And that's why when he's like not around her, he's so giddy and happy with other guys and his guy friends, because when he's like watching football, because he doesn't have to think about all these, I'm like checking all the boxes in my mind. And so also Meghan's fans, the Sussex Squad, which I used to be a part of because I used to be a fan of hers, have the most crazy, it's the Beehive, it's K-pop stans, and it is the Sussex Squad who have the craziest fan bases. And then I guess Taylor Swift's fan base has a crazy fan base now too. But I've never seen K-pop stans mass reporting somebody's page for just saying, oh, I actually prefer TVXQ to Super Junior, which are old school K-pop groups at this point, right? I've never seen them act that crazy. I've seen them stand, like, literally just be like, oh, like, I don't like this person, or I like this person, and, like, I'm so obsessed. Oh, Annie, oh. What's the other one? Oh, you know, like, loving their fans, or, like, hating, oh, why is he with this girl? I don't want him with this girl. He's my bias. Whatever they say, right? I forgot. I'm not in the K-pop stan groups, right? I listen to whoever I listen to, and that's it. I'm not a stan. But and if you don't know what a stan is an obsessed fan, and the term comes from Eminem's song and music video for Stan, where it shows a guy who's obsessed with Eminem. Okay, from the early 2000s. But I feel like Meghan is talking about censorship and social media. How dare you? Like, literally, how dare you? You have the craziest, one of the craziest fan bases, who is so rude, who they've called Catherine a wrinkly hoe, when Catherine didn't do anything to Meghan at all, except welcome her into the family. All the stuff on the Oprah interview has been debunked. I debunked it. Other people have debunked it. The news has debunked it. Meghan's fan base literally, like, doxes people, bullies people. Like, they literally, like, say the most horrible things about people, all because we will come on this app or any other app and say, oh, why did Meghan work for like 72 days and copy a bunch of Diana's outfits for those 72, to wear like 50 of Diana's outfits in 72 days? She says she barely left the house, which was not true, because she's been photographed like over 100 times when she was in the royal family. Why is it that she says A, B, C, D, E, F, G, but like literally here's proof where, oh, nobody asked me if I'm okay, everybody hates me, when literally the streets are full of people to see you, crowds are here to see you, you're on the balcony with Her Majesty the Queen in the front, like literally not sitting in the back with the other members of the family. You're like, it's you, Harry, William and Catherine, and the Queen is in the middle. And you're saying, they hated me, the British people hated me, they're so like this, they're like that, da, da, da. Oh, they're racist. No, they're not racist. She never said that. When she said bullying and racism are two different things in the Oprah interview. Why is it that when we say what Meghan is saying out of her mouth is contradictory to reality, and the reality that she faced in the public eye, because we have photos and videos as proof, we are all of a sudden hating on her? We're demonic. We want rich white men to sleep with us. We're jealous of Meghan because she's with Harry, as if he's the only rich white man on earth who would, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you guys are jealous of her. You guys are just mad because I've been told I'm jealous because I'm not biracial. I've been told I'm jealous because Meghan has long hair and my hair is short. I've been told I'm jealous because a rich white man wants to be with her, even though last year I almost dated a Hollywood actor who's been on streaming networks, feature film movies with extremely famous actors and actresses. I've been hit on by musicians, models, who've been in giant ads, and so it's just one of those things where all we do is debunk her. We do not talk, like, we don't say horrible things like, oh, we hope that she and her family basically fall into a hole. We don't say those things. But yet, she's sitting there talking about mental health. Also, the entire, I'm going to use this brush for a microphone. The whole, yeah, once upon a time there were cars and you could smoke in the car. You can still smoke in a car in 2023 if it's your car. You didn't have seatbelts. In the 1920s, by the time Meghan was born, there were seatbelts in the car. There were no seatbelts, and, eventually there became safeguards. And, even when you're falling asleep on the road, the car goes beep, 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 and then you stare back into the lane. And, we need those for our kids. Your kids have all perished because of social media, but I have children. My children are still alive. My kids are young. And hopefully by the time they're adults, we will not have these problems, because my husband and I have a plan for world domination, to take over the internet, so we can censor everyone who's not in the Sussex Squad. And, you know, we will start a new wave of internet where everybody likes us. And if there's anything negative about us, it won't be able to be posted in my off-the-shoulder nighttime ensemble. You know why that rubbed me the wrong way? How dare you speak to parents who cannot even tuck their kids into bed about your phantom children, and talk about, oh, my kids are still here and they're not going to deal with that because your kids all basically were born before mine, and your kids, like, I grew up online. I've been online since 2006 when I was 11 years old. I know, right? My friends had me make or 2007, my friends had me make a Meebo account. If you guys know what Meebo is, it was an online chat room back in the day. And so that's where it all started, right? Meebo, then came MySpace, there was LiveJournal, there was Polyvore, there was, like I said, MySpace, Facebook, of course, Instagram and TikTok, and here we are today. All these, you know, Lemonade, whatever, all of these different platforms. And if I were in a panel about mental health, speaking to kids, parents of bereaved children, I would share my own experience as an online personality and my own experience with my own mental health problems. She had no issue saying, oh, you know, I had these feelings where I didn't want to be around anymore. And it was a very real, what did she say? She said it was a very real, very reoccurring thought, something to that effect. Imagine, just imagine if I said, my husband and I, we fell in love, and our love was very real and very natural. Well, listen, honey, I passed language arts and reading and English classes. And based off of language, isn't it obvious that if you fell in love or you had a feeling, it was a real feeling? You wouldn't say, I had a feeling that was a fake feeling, because if you're feeling it, it's real to you in your mind, in your emotions, in your heart. So I would not say, oh, I had a feeling of happiness and it was a very real, very reoccurring thought. Who am I trying to convince that it was real? You or me? Am I trying to convince myself? I really felt happy. I felt happy often. It was a reoccurring feeling of happiness. Oh, am I saying that to you, or am I saying that to me? I think I'm saying that to me if I have to literally tell you that the feeling was reoccurring. That part of the interview was just, I was like, what do you mean? I have personally felt those thoughts that she claimed that she was feeling. And I didn't need to tell anybody that it was a very real, haunting, reoccurring, serious thought. Because it was. But I didn't need to say it like that, you know? And if, like I said, I've been on almost every single social media website in Inception, major social media site. I've been bullied, harassed, talked trash about. People have written articles about me, made fake accounts about me. I don't think anyone has made a video about me, but people have written things about me, right? And at this point in my 28 years of existence, I just realized that those people, they're entitled to their opinions because I'm entitled to my opinion. And there are people who can say whatever they want to say. Like I had a situation where people accused me of buying fake luxury or renting luxury from the stores in Paris. And it was a whole, if you go on my Instagram page and you go to my the first Paris highlight, and you click through it, at the end of the first highlight, you will see all that drama that unfolded, like screenshots to everything. So there's that. And I mean, if you're accused of something that's not true, you could just say it's not true. And then you just move on with your life. Like, I have receipts, literal receipts, and certificates of authenticity off camera of all my things, because I had to bring them through customs, and I just keep them because I just keep them. And if I decide one day to like sell this or sell anything, then you need the certificate of authenticity. But like, I'm not going to prove it in every video, every post. I don't need to do that, right? And the thing about it is, a lot of times the things people say about you is a reflection of them. A lot of people in the Megxit community, for example, have dealt with narcissists and have seen narcissists get away with the most. And they felt a sense of powerlessness because, let's say if you were a child and you had a narcissistic father or mother or a sibling, you couldn't really expose them, because when you do, people are like, oh, that's your mom, she just cares. That's your dad, he just cares. That's your brother, he just cares. That's your sister, she just cares about you, or whatever. But as an adult, when you actually see somebody lying in real time and you can photograph it, screenshot it, whatever, you can say, okay, this person claimed they barely left the house, but here's 52 photos of them in the span of 3 months. So that's obviously a lie. So you get the feeling of, okay, when I was a child, I couldn't stand up for myself or speak out about this person. And the thing is, the greater scheme of this is these two people are, Meghan is like, hopefully in time we can, implement, with a lot of things, policy. Boom, boom, there it was. She's working with people behind the scenes like Google and all these other platforms to create policies or a new social media website, because Harry himself said he works with social media, he makes social media, he's implementing social media, something to that effect. And we're like, since when? What? But they are trying to implement policies where there are, only kindness. I'm just coming up with something. The kindness, only kindness cares. On this social media website, you can't say anything negative. Get your teenager to sign up for it. And, we're only a kindness. We only, talk about kindness. Because any opinion, like, I liked Meghan's outfit that she wore to the health summit, but I would have worn it to a dinner, to dinner with the girls, cocktail, a date night, to an evening event that was not business related, unless it was a business dinner, not a speaking event during the daytime talking to bereaved families. And it is also very out of touch to wear $3,600 worth of, like, if I was going to go volunteer, do you think I'd take this bag to an orphanage to go volunteer? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. If this sweater was $750, which it's not, it was like $12, I would not wear the most expensive, like literally a $4,000, $5,000 outfit to, what is the point? Like, what is the point? And the thing is, it's a brand new outfit. It's not a rewear. It's like, I know it's not off the rack because it's actually from the 2021 collection of the brand that she was wearing it from. But like, you're wearing like, it's like you're trying to be angelic. You're hugging people. You push Harry out of the way to hug. And then Kamala Harris's husband is there. So it's obvious that you're trying to weasel your way into politics. You're not being bipartisan, because if she was bipartisan, she would have met with Democrats and guess who? Republicans, which is a dirty word somehow. Republicans to say, we want mental health programs for the youth. If it was me, bro, that's why people say I should have married Harry. If it was me, I don't think I would have, but I don't know. Anyways, if it was me, I would have said I would like to maybe work with bipartisan or non-political mental health groups to advocate for mental health for teenagers. If we do have school counselors, but if we had panels at schools about mental health and navigating social media, navigating bullying, all that kind of stuff, because I mean, I went to school from high school from fall of 2009 and graduated June 2013, right? So there was bullying then. There was online bullying then. Bullying on Facebook, MySpace, and then Instagram came around when I was a senior in high school. Bullying on Twitter, wildness on the internet. So like, we have the same issues, and we had smartphones then. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where there is so much to talk about. There's way more qualified people that could have been there to talk about. I could have talked about that. I could have been at that summit and I had way more to say. But it's obvious that Meghan couldn't even dig up I was the most trolled person online. She could have literally said, I know what it's like to have people talk about me. She should have used us to her advantage. I have people who make videos about me every time I breathe, and this is how I navigate it. I would have literally talked about that if I was in her position. Yeah, I have accounts that don't like me and they talk about me, and while they are entitled to their opinion, it does affect me sometimes, and I do try not to read the comments, but I do, and sometimes I've watched certain videos, and those people don't know me really, and they see a perception of me and an image of me, and they take clips and videos that I've said, and it's hard to navigate because I'm still a human being at the end of the day. Why didn't she say that? Why didn't she give some sort of actual relatability? Because for whatever reason, it's like narcissists are like aliens trying to act human. So it's like she's like, how do I explain this? It's as if all she can talk about is her interest. She can't talk about something that hurt her or something that's like, I don't think things really hurt Meghan. Like, I don't really think that they do, because that was the example I just gave was the perfect thing to say. Why didn't she just say that? She's seatbelts and cars and, policy and kids and my kids and being a mom is the most important thing to me other than this one. I would never talk about, I'm not married yet, right? But I would never sit there and say, me and my husband, we went on a honeymoon, and me and my husband, talking to a group of widows. So she's talking about her children to a group of people who don't have their children anymore, which is just sick. But I think everyone's talking about how Harry looked deflated. I think Harry looked visibly moved. I think Harry looked visibly shaken by the stories that he's heard, because he talks about how he's had dark thoughts in his mental health. So I'm sure that he himself has contemplated those things, and he's still alive. And he talked about how in Spare he drove to Paris and told his bodyguard to drive through the tunnel at 100 miles per hour or whatever. So he's had those thoughts, but he didn't succumb to those thoughts, right? But like, I don't really understand why Meghan isn't bringing up her own mental health struggles that she said she had 2 years ago. Did she ever have them? Because that's something in your back pocket. You could just, you mean to tell me if somebody's talking to me about Japan, I won't bring up my trips there? If someone's talking to me about Paris, I won't bring up the time that I went and my experience? I'm just confused. Why wouldn't you talk about that? Unless you don't remember because it didn't really happen and you just made it up on the spot. Because there's some people who will just, they'll just say whatever is convenient to say, and then they forget because it didn't happen. It didn't really happen to them that much, or it didn't affect them, or they just said it because that was the most. It's like a Rolodex. What's the most dramatic thing I could say in this moment? Like I said, I use my powers for good. What's the most dramatic thing I could say in this moment? I didn't want to be alive anymore, and it was a very real and very constant thought. All of a sudden, 2 years later, cars, seatbelts, beep beep, wake up, driving off the street. In the Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up Netflix documentary. I'm a mom, and these accounts are saying things about me, and I check the logs. And I check the logs before I go to sleep, even though I live in a 16-bedroom house with security guards and a team of people and maids and nannies, and I'm scared. Why didn't she say that? oh, these hate accounts say this. Why did you remember when TMZ would say that TMZ would say that people were on their property. She could literally say, yeah, people have literally come to our house. They've been on our property. We've called the police several times because of the vitriol online. And it's been horrifying. If Meghan, if you're watching this video, can you take notes? Like, just take notes. Just let me help you. Just take notes and actually be relatable. Actually say things that are relevant to the topic. Why can't you can you do that? That's why I'm so bothered, because I'm like, bro, you're an actor. I don't even act. I write. So technically that's a form of acting. I have a very overactive imagination. So I could be an actress. I just haven't gotten into it yet, right? I haven't gone on websites to sign up to be an extra. I just came up with a whole script that's not even a script. It's the experiences you claim you had. Why couldn't you just talk about that? Like, if someone told me, if I said, yeah, I really like Britney Spears' music, and they went to a Britney Spears concert, isn't that the natural thing? Yeah, I saw Britney in 2010 and she was really good. Oh, wow, I never saw her. Hello, you're piggybacking off it's a conversation about things that why are you in a mental health forum? Because don't you relate to mental health? Aren't you talking, the kids, I'm confused. Okay, guys, I didn't mean to talk for 40 minutes, but I had to talk about this because it just really bothered me. And like, I just feel like the thing about it is, with narcissists, you cannot keep them on script because they think they know better. Someone just said yesterday, I was in a live stream with Paula M and Megan's Mole, and she said something to the effect of, when Megan was writing The Bench, she said in the interview about how, the cut interview about how she told the artist what watercolors would go better with what, with the paper, even though the artist had said, this isn't going to go with that. She didn't care. She's like, no, it's going to. So like, she signed with WME, but it's like, she's not literally like, I can see it like a prophet sees a vision. I can see her just being in the meetings with the team of people who are like, hey Megan, so we want you to do this magazine shoot, or we want you to do this event. Well, what if I did this? Well, what if I wear that? Well, what if I think, I think we should do it. And as an artist who has done freelance work or done work with agencies and done work for other people, it is a nightmare when you have somebody breathing down your neck telling you, who hired you, that they know better about things they know nothing about. People who don't know anything about art are like, well, how about you change this and change, why don't you go this and do that, and why don't you blah blah, and why don't you, this is why what I say it like this. You have to be as specific as possible, but at the same time, I can just see her trying to tell the team of experts, like, you can't tell me, hey Tumi, I want you to draw me a dog. That's too vague. Do you want a pit bull? Do you want a Dalmatian? Do you want a Saint Bernard? Do you want a German Shepherd? And what do you want the dog doing? Do you want the dog to be like a human, like an anthropomorphic dog, like a dog who's a detective? Do you want a dog who's a ballerina? Do you want a dog reading a newspaper? Do you want a dog smoking a cigarette? Because just draw anything. I draw you a Siberian Husky. Actually, I really like Zootopia, and I really like the police officer that was a rhinoceros. Could you draw me like something like that? Then I have to start over. So I can just really see Meghan being like, you know what? Well, yeah, I just think, if I could draw it myself, I would, but I can't. That's why I hired you. But I have a vision, and let me just tell. And yes, okay, in certain regards, the customer is always right. But if I hire a PR firm, I don't know PR. They know PR. They know what they're doing. I hired them to help me. So, like, that's the point. Okay, guys, thank you guys so much for listening to this. If you watched all 40 minutes of this, thank you so much. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Please follow me on my other social media networks. I'm mostly on Instagram. I lurk on TikTok. I just hang out on TikTok a lot. I like TikTok and all that kind of stuff. So in the description below will be all the links, all my links, and Linktree is where you find every single link of mine. Okay? Thank you guys. Bye-bye.